What's up guys, Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today, doing a VOD review of one of the GOATs of TFT. This is Title. If you guys haven't heard of Title before, I guess you don't really follow competitive TFT too closely, but two-time world champion, open finalist. I mean, this guy almost won an open as well, which is absolutely crazy. On top of that, he is one of the GOATs of TFT and obviously the pride of Japan. And he's here repping Japan in one of these regionals scrims lobbies because he is going to be playing in regionals literally today as this video is coming out. It may have already happened actually APAC wise because of the way that time zones work, but America's regionals has not happened at the time this video is being released. It starts at 1 p.m. Pacific time, so if you want to come catch me on the main broadcast, come check it out. I will be there, and I believe I'm casting the first game, so I'm super hyped for that. Another thing that I'm super hyped for is my Metafy group tournament. This is for people in Legendary Tacticians, but I'm also filling the waitlist with people who are in Tacticians University. This is happening at 10 a.m. Central Time on Sunday. If you guys want a spot in that, either join Legendary Tacticians or Tact University, and you can just, there's little Discord stuff for you to react to. You'll get automatically assigned the role. And if you are in Tact University and you want to be added to the waitlist, just go, there's a Discord message there, and you can react and just show up at 9 a.m. on Sunday so that you can, or 9 a.m. Central Time, convert that to your time zone. It should be an absolute blast. Checkmate is always a ton of fun. And what's also a ton of fun is taking augments that have random outputs here, like Legion of Threes, and getting a really good emblem out of them. Space Groove Emblem. So, we haven't actually talked so much about Space Groove in a little while. I think, you know, back in the early days of, the early days of the set, you would take Space Groove and play into like Space Groove Ribbon setup. And then they nerfed Space Groove Emblem really hard. And so that became like not great. And then people discovered, oh, you can play some of your orange stuff. And then it became really broken. And then it went kind of back down when the Samira Orange stuff got nerfed. And so now we're actually in an interesting, almost middling area, except I left out one part of the story, which is after all of that, they buffed up Nami pretty decently in this most recent patch. And so we live in a world now where Nami's actually a really fantastic carry that you can play around. You don't need to worry so much about playing, you know, super through the Riven. Also, they've nerfed the interaction between Riven and Space Groove Emblem. She's actually still a really nice unit on the board just because she fits really nicely. Pantheon Riven is just such a disgusting trait combo on the board because you're already fitting Rogan. Getting Tiebreaker for the board is really good. Getting Replicator via Pantheon is amazing. And then you can just fit Thomas Kenshin on top of that. So it makes a lot of sense to play her onto the board, but she doesn't always have to be, like a main carry or anything like that. Nami feels really good to carry these days. So that is, I believe, the idea here from Title in his spot here. Starts off with a pretty decent econ opener because he knows I'm not really going to win streak that hard in this spot here with the Space Groove Emblem, and no real slams in this spot here, and my augment. To talk about Legion of Threes as well, you know, I think a lot of people would see this augment and say, oh, well, I get Space Groove Emblem. I might as well play, you know, around Samira reroll because that plays the 3 costs on my board, which are going to then get buffed up by Legion of Threes, and it's going to be really good, and I must go for it. Not always necessarily the case. Honestly, a lot of the value in this augment is just that it gives you an entire emblem here, so we can definitely think hard about whether we want to play reroll or not here. We are going to take the option that gives you a 3 cost that you own here, but we do not actually have a 3 cost that we own. So we are going to end up in kind of a funny situation here where we're just going to get a random 3 cost, which not the end of the world. We get a random Ross and it's like totally fine. We have to take the bow here, which I think is quite interesting. Could have taken the Ornn for Ornn, but I think didn't want, you know, the potential Bramble Vest. And also seems as though we really wanted the bow here. Imagining this is for like a JG Nashers type idea onto Nami. The statistics really like stuff like that onto Nami, and a lot of mana gen in general because of the way that Nami works. The more she's casting, the more she's in the groove, the more she is getting those Space Groove procs that scale up her armor or her AD and AP. So you really do want a lot of mana on this Nami. Never feels bad even to have like double mana on a unit like this Nami, even though on a lot of other AP units you're not really considering building stuff like double mana. I will say, it's interesting as well, our opener is shaping up to be very econ heavy. We have this board as well. And wow, look at this at the last second from Title, making the swap in to try to grief this player Ringo here, and he does it. What a beautiful grief here. I mean, he should, I imagine, oh, it's actually a lot, oh, it was a really nice try, but his board's actually just too strong here. He had Fate Weaver on the board via the TF, and also this Pantheon unit is just a monster here. So actually a really nice try at the grief there, and actually fails. I thought for sure that he was actually going to lose that there, but this Pantheon unit, I find every time I try to grief with Pantheon, he just like does something insane, and I actually accidentally win the fight, and I'm like, oh no. As what happened with Title here. So basically, I'm saying I'm the same player as Title. Item Anvil here appears. The upside, even though we didn't lose that fight, is we still have one item Anvil to work with. Really would have liked the two, but not the end of the world. And the other upside of this spot is, this is what I was going to say, is look at this setup econ-wise. We have Primordian and Timebreaker here. Imagine the tier is going to come down here just to complete the Shojin so that we can start getting those mana gen items. And we also see here this guy in the world here with an Ornn 2. I think this is already really good direction to say we don't actually want to play reroll that hard here. We also have 0 Samiras and 0 Ornns in this spot here. So you can see that we, you know, are in this position where we're looking more at, you know, not playing towards the reroll version of the board, more of like a tempo fast 8 version, which I think it makes a lot of sense these days. It also makes sense with our items, right? Rod, a horrible item for Ornn and Samira, just the worst component in the game if you were forcing that line. However, pretty reasonable if you're playing for Nami. I will say the dupes are mighty tempting if you did want to play this. I don't know if you're allowed to take forward thinking here. It's so much HP. I mean, I'd love to see it because it's cool, but I mean, you want the econ, but I don't think you're allowed to take it. So we are just going to be forced into taking combat here, get the Shojin and the GS down, and it's not bad. The only thing about this is we have no econ augment this game, but our hope is that having double econ traits is going to be enough, right? I mean, where every single round we're generating at least 2 gold of value, sometimes a lot more than that. Honestly, at least 4 gold of value, right? Because whatever we're getting out of the Timebreaker is, well, I guess it could be 2 gold for the win there, but like, you know, the losses is rerolls, that's 2 gold, and then, you know, you're getting, okay, so it's at least 3 gold worth of value, I think is where we're landing, and then whatever you end up getting out of Primordial, but that's pretty good. 3 gold per round. I mean, that's like a prismatic augment, honestly, so you'll definitely take that. Level here for the Gwen, just to spike our board a little bit, especially because we got that extra econ, we still get to make 30 gold, which is fantastic here. Would love to keep up a bit of a streak this stage and, you know, save the HP and also, you know, get that free EXP. So we'll see if that is what ends up occurring here. Also, very, very tragic, but we're going to be on odd EXP the entire game. Ephemeral Roll is not a bad, well, it's not a horrible pickup. The only thing I don't love about ephemeral rolls in positions like this is now you actually have to spend your free rolls here or you don't get the ephemeral rolls. I've taken this many a time here and been kind of disappointed by it. It's like, okay, well now we have to use the free rolls on 7 or else we lose the ephemeral rolls. So we'll see what Title wants to do here. I imagine he is just going to burn these free rolls, but we'll see here. JG does come down as a good slam for the Nami. So it means we're probably not getting to like double mana item unless this bow ends up becoming Nashers and then GS moves over. But still, I mean, Shojin is enough mana gen to put her into a pretty good spot, and GS, JG, great combo. Gives you the damage amp, gives you this spell crit, kind of gives you everything that you would like here. And so yeah, he does hover the ephemeral rolls, and he's like, well, wait a minute. Now I'm in this spot here where I can't actually, and so he is actually gonna roll this round and hit like a pretty normal shop for most players, I would say. That is the classic, by the way. I just every single Space Group player always hits a Blitzcrank on 7 or on 8 usually, I would say, but this is actually level 7 Blitz. He also has the Nunu that he's going to fit onto this board, which is pretty solid. Is this game high roll? No, it's title roll. I mean, it's just actually world champ diff in this spot here, and he's still going to take a loss, which is a little bit sad, but still totally fine in this position, especially after hitting. The only thing that's a little scary about his spot is his HP, right? We are quite low here, so we do really need to spike, and all the Blitzcranks in the world, I mean, they're obviously helpful, but we do need to hit our Nami to really be in a good enough spot to, you know, not just die here. We're going to use our free roll here, going to take the Nunu actually off of the board for a second just to kind of try to figure out what he actually wants to play here. The Nasus, really fantastic on this board, and yeah, Nunu probably going to end up getting cut here. Looking at maybe a Void Staff I would be looking at Void Staff Morello here, just to get these items down here, and then you could just finish with the Warmogs. He's gonna kind of do it a little bit differently. He's gonna make the Sunfire actually as his other tank item. Also, I think I might have lied. Can you have mid Warmogs there? It would have to be Void Staff. With oh no, yeah. If you make Morello, then you can't make Warmog. So he actually prioritizes just getting to the Sunfire and then leaving good components open, right? Belt for good tank item, Rod for good damage item. So I think this makes a lot of sense. We actually lose this fight as well, which is really, really scary. And we're not even on interval, right? Next, we would actually ideally stack one more round, but I don't know if we can do that from an HP perspective here, down to 33. It's getting pretty rough. Cyber Uplink, fantastic combat here, but he is just going to go for the second wind here, just as I want to make the fights last a little bit longer. And yeah, we are going to level in the spot and roll it down here. I guess the other downside of Cyber Uplink is like, what would we actually uplink, or what would you actually do with the tier here? Not so much here. The upside is we make it to a version of the board here. You'll notice that we're actually playing pretty hard around Morgana here. This is just this idea these days that Morgana is just a beast. You feel really, really good tanking this unit. She is honestly the single best tank in the game. If you can, get to her 2-star and itemize her. And the only downside is this means that a lot of people are looking for Morgana, which makes it pretty hard to 2-star her. But if you end up in that fortunate spot where you get to her, you are really, really happy about it. We are going to get a print from the Thomas Kench here. Not, anything crazy, but the Rost is pretty good. And speaking of 2-stars, we do finally pick up the 2-star Morg here and the 2-star Riven, who is actually going to replace the Rost here. She adds a lot of great traits to the board, as we've covered many a time. She does a ton of work here, but it's unitemized. She's actually just a trait pot on this board, but like I said, doesn't really matter. Look at the work that Nami's putting in. 10,000 damage there, almost 11,000 damage from just a Nami 2 with 5 space crew. By the way, this isn't even 7 space crew. We're opting to play more good synergies here. Owned 4 cost versus, that's the full item one, I believe. I'd really like to take full item here, and we are going to take it. I think it makes a lot of sense. And then we're just going to take Warmogs here. Fantastic HP scaling onto this this Morgana here, and we get a Hodge. Oh my god. So if we can get a JG here to finish out our Blistering items, our spot is going to be fantastic here. Yeah, I mean, I am... But call me McDonald's, because I'm loving this this game right here. We're in a really, really nice spot. I will say it's a bit scary, actually. Rotate into LaShao, very heavy 3-star board, actually hit a lot of stuff already, but look at that second win proc. This is why Title 1 to take this here, is because we have a front line that's really going to benefit from a bunch of extra free HP onto it, and also Space Roof board is inherently a scaling board. It's a board that inherently you want the fights to go long so that you can scale up all of your Space Groove units, and that's exactly what Second Wind does. Might be the single best augment in this comp, just to allow your fights to go long here. And yeah, even though you already have the healing onto your units, I mean, you don't feel bad about getting some extra healing onto everybody and making sure everybody lives. And just look at this Morg, all of this HP onto her. She just barely takes any damage. She just tanks the entire board. I mean, this is this patch in a nutshell. Get Space Groove Emblem, play through Nami, have a fantastic time. Get Morgana, have a fantastic time. I mean, it's everything that this patch is all about. I would not be surprised to see us just take this here, right? It's JG to pair up very, very nicely with the Hodge here. He actually removed her Space Groove Emblem, which is quite interesting. Looks like he's looking at triple item onto the Morg here. Just means you'd have to move this over to Riven. I actually would rather just keep the Space Groove here onto this. Yeah, I like this a lot, adaptive here, and then you could just move Sunfire over to the Riven. Yeah, it's kind of a tad bit awkward here. Oh, that was actually kind of funny. Why did he do that? He sworded the Riven, and then he was like, actually, I don't want the sword on Riven. I guess his thought is maybe we're going to print another component down the line, and we won't want it on her. He wants her to be AP, obviously, because we have Void Staff, and he realized when I sword her, it's going to turn her to AD. That's so funny. Oh, my God. So even title, I mean, just, like fundamentals, it's good to throw the sword onto the Riven, and then he realizes, oh, this is like, Riven is a very unique unit where if you put any AD onto her, and no AP, she's going to transform into AD when she has equal, or into AP when she has equal numbers. That's actually so funny, but cool realization from title. He's like, oh crap, I can't actually do that there. And the Sunfire moving over to Riven's actually pretty reasonable here. So ideally, you put main tank items on your main tank and then Sunfire onto a secondary tank. We don't have a great secondary tank here, but what we do have is a Riven who does have a built-in aggro drop. She's never going to get just straight up blown up at the start of the fight here, so it actually feels quite good to just throw the Sunfire onto her. I do imagine if we do find the Thomas Kench too, that we will just move the Sunfire over there, but it's not a huge deal right now, and you can see what is a huge deal is just how well we are doing on this board. I mean, the board is fantastic here. Rotate into the Cho'Gath here, who is going to get punched by the Blitz, which is nice. The only scary thing is this entire board. It's quite scary, but the second win, I feel like putting in so much work here has allowed us to get up to the 7 streak here. I mean, yeah, it's just the board seems unkillable with the setup here. We can look for, I guess, Riven item here in Giant Slayer, and we are going to level here for the Rost. Great in on this board. We had it in earlier, and these days it's just fantastic here. We do find a Shen, though, who's another amazing in on this board here. And peep this, actually. We're going to move GS up to the Blitz here and then Void over to Riven. So this does basically, I mean, it guarantees that she's AP. I will say she's probably, I mean, she's not the best unit at applying MR Shred. It's not like she's going to like ever, you know, splash to backline or anything like that, but still not bad. And consolidating items is consolidating items. And especially if we're going to go triple damage onto Blitz, we don't really have anyone else who can hold on to this. But yeah, I mean, Shen, super obvious, fantastic in on this board. Gets you Bastion in via the Ornn, which is really valuable. And just the shield onto the entire board is really nice. You basically, I'm sorry, I'm like playing with my nail clipper here because I'm getting antsy. But you basically always, in my opinion, want to play for the shield in this line because attack speed, it's kind of a dime or dozen in this line. Like, it's so easy to get to attack speed in this line. And also, once again, this is a scaling line. Also, speaking of scaling, look at this Morgana go. We just barely lose to Stillness's board here. Top 3 already locked in for title, though. The spot looking great, and even finds the Ornn too. Big thing that we're looking for is Blitzcrank 2. We found 1 on 7, but can we find the last one to finish the 2-star on level 9? Because if we can, our board gets an insane amount stronger. Maybe can even win the lobby. If we cannot find it, we might have to resolve ourselves to, you know, just a solid top 3 here. Do find a lot of Namis, and yeah, I actually like this idea a lot. Just dish the Riven for double Nami on this board. She's just such a beast here, and it's more space room value because it's not like we're space room the Riven, and we hit the Blitzcrank huge here. We're gonna move the Nash over to beautiful itemization move, by the way. Move the Nash over to the Nami that has the JG here, and then move the Shojin over to the other Nami. Beautiful setup here from title. Can we beat Genbai's board with this really huge show? We can. Drop him down to 1 HP, which is really nice, but sadly we did not finish the job, and we're going to continue to roll down here just for any kind of upgrade. And yeah, this makes a lot of sense. The Sunfire lives on the Ornn now because we have Ornn too. He's pretty good to play around, and he's getting this full space roof bonus, which, by the way, gets another unit of bonus in because we do have the Nami in here. It's actually just perfect here. Now, this is the board that we lost to last time. Throws the sword onto the TK just for fun here. Do we have enough damage to get through this board and also enough front line to not get blown up here? It's looking pretty promising here. And yep, we're going to win the fight versus Clone. It's going to lock us in top 2, but Stillness is still on a win streak here, which is pretty scary. We're going to roll down, see if we can pick up Shen too. We cannot, so this is going to be our last fight here. Very likely in the entire game here, unless somebody takes a close loss. We will see. It's possible. It's even an Akali too, right at the end here. Also has Jhin on the board, interestingly enough, instead of some of the more normal ins on this board. I believe they don't have Rostin, actually. Interesting. All right, we'll see. They actually moved the Vex up to try to snipe backline here, and it's working. Look at this. It's aggroing onto Nami, killing our entire board here, and I don't know if we killed enough here to survive. We did not. It's a top 2 from title. I mean, really nice positioning from Stillness and just really good play to reach that fast line board and cap out. And you can see Morgana top 1, Morgana top 2, Morgana bot 4, but we don't talk about that. This Morgana unit is pretty good. But yeah, just a beautifully played game from title with a few little sprinkles of high roll in there. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitch and Metafy, all my other links down below. Once again, if you want to play in my tournament, just check out all the Metafy membership stuff in the description down below. Come join the Discord. You can see it all in there. And also, if you want to check me cast, then come watch me. Check me cast. If you would like to watch me cast Teamfight Tactics for the PC and also mobile platforms that all the players will be playing on PC, then come check out twitch.tv/riot/Teamfight Tactics at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I will see you guys there. Thanks for watching as always. Bye-bye.